Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi for all the participants of Melta Conference. Today we will present a presentations with the title Creating a Digital Storytelling to Promote Intercultural Competence for Pre-Service Teachers. I am Nur Arifah Drajati with my students Surya Agung Wijaya, Adi Irma Suryadi, and Yuga Pratama. The background of this research or this study is based on the Byram Intercultural Framework. This study makes a case to promote intercultural communicative competence or ICC by using digital storytelling entitled Roro Jongrang, Tumpeng, and Batik. So this is the background of this study. Intercultural communicative competence and digital storytelling books are highly anticipated topics by some scholars. Rigo and Leo 2017 and also Nguyen et al. 2020, they have some research on this field. Though this kind of research doesn't base on the framework of Byram's, but this indicates having open discussion on digital storybooks based on ICC models.
Byram's followers haven't started the notion of ICC implemented in core areas. However, digital storytelling still remains to be discussed further.
Digital storytelling is the practice of creating a short movie by combining digital artifacts such as images, text, video clips, animation, and music using a computer-based program based on Robin and McNeil 2019. There are 5 components of ICC. The first one is knowledge of social groups and their cultural beliefs, practices, and artifacts in one's own and in one's interlocutor country at societal and individual levels. The second one is attitude. Respect, willingness, curiosity, openness, interest, self-awareness, and readiness to suspend these beliefs about other cultures and beliefs about one's own. The third one is skill of interpreting and relating, the capability of making sense of cultural document or even from another culture so as to expound it and connect it with a document or even from one's own. The fourth one is a skill of discovery and interaction. It's the capability of translating cultural knowledge, attitudes, and skill into authentic communication interaction. The fifth one is a critical cultural awareness or political education, the capability to critically cultural perspectives, practices, and artifacts in one's own and other countries.
The context of this research is in Indonesian context, with developing digital storytelling books with native cultures. When making digital storytelling book, students were guided by a schedule which was based on digital storytelling steps proposed by Lambert. As you can see in the table, the steps started from owning students' insight to sharing the story, and each steps were translated into students' activities in the right column. For instance, in the step of owning your insight, students do some activities such as choosing a topic of digital storytelling, collecting general information about the topic, and contextualizing with COVID-19. And in the final steps, students share their story. They share the stories by presenting to Indonesian teachers, students, and Hong Kong pre-service teachers and ask them to review their stories. The data were generated from 3 different sources: observation, document analysis, and photo elicitation. They were used for different purposes. To know how the digital storytelling books look like, here I will show you. The findings showed that students were captured involving knowledge element of ICC in their discussion. As we can see, students posted a picture in a discussion box describing two workers creating batik mask with caption, "So, do we need to add batik mask, Mbak?" The meaning of that discussion is, the storytelling project was firstly started to create during the early COVID-19 pandemic. When digging more information about batik, students knew that the world, especially Indonesia, experienced the shortage of masks. There was informed in some news and social media that some Indonesian inhabitants utilized batik as material of mask. From this point, the students of that group involved this new information of using batik as mask in their story. In the students' online discussion, we can also capture their attitudes. In the chat box, a student posted a suggestion for introduction of Roro Jonggrang story. She added some components in the introduction in order to relate the story of Roro Jonggrang to the current situation of COVID-19. From the discussion, we can point out that the discussion between both students indicate their attitudes toward the story of Roro Jonggrang. Both knew that Roro Jonggrang was from Java, Indonesia, which was famous for its tourism attraction. However, it was little bit different that year since COVID-19 pandemic existed in this country. Adding the above context, to start the story showed their openness toward Roro Jonggrang story.
Skill of interpreting and relating. Portraying the similar context between Western and Eastern, students communicated their idea from foods that are identical with celebration. For example, in other countries or Western countries, they use a cake to celebrate a birthday party, when in Indonesia, they use a tumpeng. Those foods are identical with to show gratitude, and the difference between those foods are based on the ingredients of foods to portray context of culture. And from the cake, the ingredients of cake is from flour as the staple food, while in Indonesia, tumpeng is based on from rice as the staple food. Skill of discovery interaction. The first one is in knowledge. Batik is mostly used as a clothes. The second one is attitude. Since pandemic outbreak, people innovate to create something to protect themselves, such as batik mask. The third one is skill. Collecting from various information about batik, students try to communicate to their readers from their book that batik is not related with old fashion. As we can see in the pictures, that mother wears batik while the children is not wearing batik. However, it could manifest a first generation needs and lifestyles, such as we make bag from batik, and we make shawl from batiks, and so on.
The photo elicitation data reveals how the writers critically reflect after receiving feedbacks from Indonesian and Hong Kong readers. They operate their intercultural knowledge and attitude manifested into their skill of interpreting and relating, skill of discovery and interaction. Therefore, they could evaluate and revise the books that they could mediate intercultural communication, considering the context of culture and situation in the pandemic COVID-19. Similar result from Byram's work and his followers. We find out that our projects is the extension of their works, because we try to transform their ideas into activities from in-class activities, out-of-class activities, by creating digital storytelling books, by mentioning native culture, and then contextualizing into the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Rooting from Byram's work in intercultural communication competence, this study successfully mediate in-class and out-of-class activities to promote intercultural knowledge, attitude, skill of interpreting and relating, skill of discovery and interaction, finally critical cultural awareness. Thank you so much for having us in this occasion. This is such an honor for us to present in this occasion. Hopefully our works give a lot of new insight for all of us in this room. Thank you so much and see you.